Campbelltown Stadium is the venue for this round 20 clash in the Telstra Premiership. It's the West Tigers taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. Let's take a look at the West Tigers side first up. There is just the one change to their team that was named earlier in the week. Luke O'Donnell is out and Steve Crouch comes onto that bench. The fullback is Daniel Fitzhenry once again, keeping Joel Kane in First Division, and the coach is Terry Lamb. For the St George Illawarra Dragons, they also just have the one change to their bench. Chris Leichvoll is out with a cork thigh muscle. His place is taken on that bench by Craig Stapleton. The halves once again are Barrett and Hornby, and the coach is Andrew Farrer.
Starts, boys.
And it's John Skandalis, of all people, who gets us underway with the kickoff. The front rower, you don't see that too many times as Riles brings it back. Tackled head on by Pearson. Millard comes to Bailey, who's met by Skandalis. Trying to improve his role and versatility in the team by taking the kickoffs now. Here's Kite. So they take it back up towards the 40-metre line. Go back to the left-hand side. Millard scampers from dummy half before he's met. A very solid tackle by that man, Skandalis. Action-packed start from him so far as Barrett puts the kick in over the top. And bounces down to Saylor, playing on the right wing, who's met. Strong tackle here by Gaznier and Hookie. And they drive him back towards the 10-metre line of the Tigers. Sears comes to Fitzhenry. Started the season in first grade in the centres and has been playing at fullback for a couple of weeks now. Come to this left-hand side, Skandalis takes it over the 20.
Wait here. Wait.
Mears with the dummy half roll to open this game up. The Tigers get a penalty.
You've gone early, Trent. About 3 years, mate. No, you wait for me every time. About 1, 2, 3 of you. Yeah, you're included. Just give us a yell. There's the mark.
An early penalty for being up inside the 10 against the Dragons. And it will be the Tigers who'll have it from just outside the St George Illawarra 40. Mears will tap it and give it to Skandalis, who goes wide straight away to Kevin McGuinness, who's chopped down, not effectively though by Millard. He gets up and goes again. The tackle's made there by Hornby. Mears to Pearson, short ball away for Lafranchi. They stop him at the 30. Jeffries at first receiver. Had Galea outside him, came to Willie Manu. Been in good form in recent times. Caught up in a bit of a fracas towards the end of last week's game against the Broncos, where he's having a disagreement with Gordon Tallis, amongst others. Galea playing it. Picking it up quickly was McGuinness, and going from dummy half. Nabbed by Riles, who raked the ball loose. That should be 6 more tackles. Tim Mann still waiting for a call from the touch judge. Gets no call, and this will be the last tackle. Unlucky the Tigers there, perhaps. Jeffries, the crossfield bomb going up for its Sailor. Got his hands to it, but was taken out of the play.
It's a changeover. Right,
will be a knock on the last tackle.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a penalty there to the West Tigers. Lovely kick by Ben Jeffries.
Yeah, right there.
Sailor going up for the football. Did knock it forward, but he was taken out of play just at the last minute by Gaznier. And the referee has deemed that it's a handover for the Dragons, and they now work the ball out 20 metres off their own line.
Here's Hooper. Counted up towards the Dragons 30. No score after 3 minutes here at Campbelltown. Flat pass to Riles from Millard. Good roll on as well.
It's tackle 4. We got an injury over here, boys, that they've caught us, asked us to stop play for.
They have stopped play because Lee Hookie has been laying flat on his back in the in-goal area.
Yeah, it's certainly a big blow for the Dragons. He does well, Hookie, retrieving the football. Looks as though he might have copped an accidental knee, maybe, from Matt Sears.
Just ducks awkwardly in the tackle as they come to him here. He puts his head very low, and you might be right, he might have got the right knee there of Matt Sears. He was wincing as he fell to ground and hasn't moved from that point on. Lee Hookie taken from the field here with just 3 minutes gone at Campbelltown. Here's Smith. Try scorer last week, one of many for the Dragons in that game against the Bunnies. Here's Kite. They might get a penalty.
Not going to talk to you all day, Ben.
Ben Jeffries, the player penalised. Up inside the 10. And the Dragons will kick it from just inside their own half. A couple of mistakes from them in their last few handling sets, and now a penalty will put the Dragons deep on the attack for the first time. The ball was actually punched back into play by the Tigers, but it was deemed to have been taken into touch by Hassan Sailor. Now Riles rampaging down the field, bouncing off Scandalis. He's only 15 metres away from the Tigers line. Millard comes to Hornby. Bailey now stepping off that right foot. Well, popped the ball, which didn't need to be thrown. It went backwards, said Tim Mander, off one of the Tigers. Smith to Riles. Goes wider still to Gaznier. It's a rerun of what happened last week against Brisbane with that defence down the right-hand side for the Tigers. Gaznier gets the opening try of the game, and it's 4-0 to the Dragons. Lovely vision and execution there by Jason Riles. A front rower using the football down a short side, and Hassan Sailor getting caught out. He got caught in no man's land. He either had to make a decision to come up with a player or come up with the football, but instead he come up with air. And Gaznier going over untouched in the corner.
Well, all this came off the back of a penalty by the Tigers, and Jason Riles helped start it. It was a great run off the tap, and of course great vision here again. Saw the players on his outside, good cut-out pass to Gaznier, great finish.
So it's Roberts, 6 metres in from the sideline. A good kick, hooking though away to the left-hand side. Such a good kick in the end, as it turns out. The Dragons will play from in front here this afternoon. They lead the Tigers 4-0 to Jeffries, to Galea. They need to kick it here on the last tackle. He forces a pass. Here's Manu. Well, he'll get the kick away. It's a terrible one. A midfield bomb which puts Roberts underneath it. And it shouldn't be a penalty to the Dragons.
No, both in the air.
Both in the air, says Tim Mander, so no penalty against Willie Manu. More spectacular though from Roberts rather.
Over the top. Yeah, you've gone over the top. Wants you to roll to the side.
Here's Riles playing it inside the Tigers 30. Hornby. All about going wider, straightens the attack. Millard with a stacked blindside to work with. Here's Riles. Some heavy contact from Galea, but got the pass away to Timmins. Hard man to drag to ground. They do that eventually. Millard fires it to Hornby. Barrett, that second receiver. Goes to Smith, back to Barrett. It comes to Bailey, who tries to put a step on Ben Jeffries. Standing there for an age in the tackle as well. Having trouble getting these Dragons to ground at the moment, the Tigers forwards. Smith showing it. It comes to Roberts. Second man play, a favourite of the Dragons, and now Gaznier comes back midfield before he puts that right foot step on. Last tackle. Barrett to Hornby, playing behind them. Another overlap for the Dragons. They're in again. They caught them short on the left, and they've caught them short on the right. Cooper scores to make it a double for the Wingers, and it's 8 points to 0, the Dragons over the Tigers.
And that's just tremendous ball movement and execution there by the Dragons. And really starting with a go forward up the middle of the park. Riles has been great early on, and then the passing hits its mark in the chest, and then Cooper receiving a lovely ball off Timmins, too quick to go over in the corner.
Roberts with the kick again, which misses to the left-hand side. After 2 tries, it's all the Dragons here at Campbelltown. Dominate things at the moment on the scoreboard. In field position as well suddenly as Terry Lamb watches on. Now Barrett fires a long pass to Timmins. He pushes away from the Jeffries tackle, which was ineffectual. Comes to one more before Galea chops him down. 10 away from the Tigers line. Here's Barrett taking them on suddenly. Oh, picked up by Manu, who can tackle. That was a terrific job down low and drove him backwards a good 3 or 4 metres. Timmins now. Good hands from Cooper to pick it up. Stay in the play. Had the ball raked out. 2 in the tackle.
You for offside. You. That's your mark.
The Dragons, again, just metres away from this Tigers line after Tim Mander has laid down the law to both Jeffries and Galea. Barrett now switches it back on the inside for Bailey. Bounced off the tackle there of Wilson, who came again to try and stop him. Millard Goes to Barrett once more. Smith ran the decoy, and coming up very quickly was Matt Sears to shut it down. Big collision between himself and Hornby. He takes him now just a couple of metres away. They've got 2 tackles left. Millard comes to Tuts.
Okay, last one.
And he's only a metre away when he'll play it. Last tackle. Millard fires it deep to Hornby. A grubber for Barrett. It came to Kafusi. There were Dragons everywhere. He came up with none of them.
Well, they've done extremely well there, the West Tigers. They have had no ball, and they have had the worst field position of any side this season. Yet they've probably come up with the 2 best hits I've seen so far. Willie Manu, tremendous tackle on Trent Barrett on the left-hand side, and then over the right, Matt Sears really committed himself and took the legs right from under Ben Hornby. Tremendous bit of work, tremendous bit of passion in defence by the West Tigers.
There's a bit from the Dragons as well. They stop Scandalis. Riles was there with the help of Tutt. The kick from Withers now. Down the sideline, picked up by Roberts inside his own 30. He has Gaznier with him. They won't be afraid to put it through the hands. And here's Cooper. Hemmed in. No, he's not. He got away from both McGuinness and Kafusi. He's back to the halfway line. Called on to play it. Now he'll be penalised.
You're effectively held, White. You're effectively held.
A little unlucky there, Cooper. He thought he might have been okay to continue on. He bounced back to his feet, checked himself, and then thought, no, I'm okay. But he was tackled, no doubt about it. In trouble at the moment, picking when to get rid of one. Now it's circus stuff just to get a kick away. It'll come from Sears to Saylor. He's down the wing. He'll kick over the top, but Roberts was positioned beautifully and only has Fitzhenry to beat now. He draws the full back, and Gaznier put it down. Oh, he was going to streak away. It's still play on for the Dragons. It was knocked backwards off the hands of Gaznier. Barrett comes to Tutt. He certainly knocked it on. They were given a second chance, the Dragons, and had them shot to bits on the right-hand side, but Tutt puts it down.
No, defensively, the Tigers on this left-hand side are having an absolute shocker. It happened on the right, though, this time from the kick. Amos Roberts trying to set up his supporting Gaznier. The pass just too far forward. Gaznier missing it. But Jackson Kafusi, or Lapina Kafusi, on this left hand. He looks to be in no man's land out there on occasion.
Well, it certainly does, but I think the Dragons too have sort of caught the same disease the Tigers have got. They're playing very poorly at stages. They've come up with some good tries, but really when they've had opportunities to convert some more tries, they seem to be rushing their passes. Guys aren't getting back deep enough, as we saw in that previous set there. Where the ball was just, the guys were just too flat. They need to get a little bit deeper in attack.
Here they are in attack. Jeffries, Withers now. Ball back on the inside for Mark O'Neill. Withers, short ball for Jeffries. Again, a little kick down the right-hand side. Saylor's run was impeded by Gaznier, who was just trailing back with the roll of the ball as Roberts picks it up.
The Dragons have done a really good job, Warren, as far as when the kicks have been put through down the short sides. Their chasers are really turning and shouldering the West Tigers off the football and giving Amos Roberts an easier passage to pick it up.
Here, boys. Wait here, wait here.
Riles will play it back to Riddell. Here's Stapleton. He just bumps it forward over the 20-metre line. 4 tackles gone here. The Tigers can limit them to a kick from deep inside their own half. They'll get it back in good position, and they stop Riddell here. Almost slow motion stuff from the Dragons in this last set of 6, as now Barrett kicks from just outside his own 20. He's kicked at the Sailor on the full as well. He'll bring it back over the halfway line. The Tigers a good chance here. 29 minutes gone at Campbelltown. They still haven't found themselves on the scoreboard, but they get a chance here.
Bring it over, bring it over.
Jeffries, or rather Fitzhenry, will play it back to Mears. Trindle now gives it to Crouch. Lucky that one went backwards. Only just though.
In the middle.
They'll play it there through Wilson. Mears, Jeffries with others. Has O'Neill running the line for him. Fitzhenry heard it towards the sideline.
Here's the mark. Jason.
He's just inside the Dragons 30. So got a couple of tackles left. As Withers comes to Trindle. Nothing happening for them on that occasion. And now Jeffries, who was just floating behind the play, will go to first receiver. He'll do the kicking on the last play. Kicks back off the outside of the boot. Away from Roberts. Oh, Withers got there and only had to pick it up to score. Hornby to Barrett. Turns it back on the inside for Roberts. I'll tell you, it's a good thing the Tigers are playing the Dragons this afternoon. We've probably seen in this first half while the Dragons are outside the top 8 themselves, because they do struggle at times to put it together for extended periods. If they were playing the Broncos again today as they did last week, I think the Broncos might have already put the whip away after putting a few tries on them as they did last week. Here's Wilson in the 5/8 role for the moment for the Tigers. Good news, as you said, Laurie, for the home team, is they only trail by 8 points to nil. If they can go to the sheds of that scoreline, it won't be too bad. O'Neill crunched by Barrett as he took the ball.
And both teams would really give themselves a show at half-time if this is the scoreline. It's pretty hard to tell who has the ascendancy out there. I mean, 1 minute you think as though the Dragons are going to run away with it and put plenty of points on the board. And as Bert mentioned, the scrambling defence of the West Tigers. And all of a sudden, if they can get down the opposition end, they might be able to jag a try. And they might lift, and who knows what will happen from there.
Scandalis will play it 40 out from the Dragons line. Last tackle, Withers puts the kick in. Much a nothing kick, really. It came to Roberts. He stopped inside the Dragons 20. There's only 90 seconds left now in the half. The Tigers will probably get possession back here, but the Dragons might be happy just to work it towards the sideline and put it out of play. And that might just be enough to use up the clock before the break.
Here we go. Here's the line.
Riddell gives it to Millard, who's back out there now.
Back up. Just play it.
Oh, Stapleton now got not a great pass, it must be said. Millard got in between them, both Riddell and Stapleton. And the Dragons are doing everything they can to give the Tigers as many chances as possible before the break.
And I'm sure they've just gone away from their game plan. At the start of the game, they were really just going forward. Riles and Bailey, they were creating a lot of opportunities. Millard was getting out of dummy half, and since they've lost that go forward, they just tend to maybe look to shift it too many times, and they're getting late calls from dummy half, not knowing who's supposed to get the ball, putting themselves under enormous amounts of pressure.
O'Neill has lost the football here. It went back to Saylor, luckily for them. An offload. It comes away from Fitzhenry. And now Crouch will be stopped. About 35 out. Inside the final 20 seconds in this first half. Mears and Withers. Do they have another chip over the top, as we've seen throughout this first half? There's a ball back from Fitzhenry. Off the hands of Crouch, who batted it down to him. The Phantom Siren is here. He's gone off early. Here's Scandalis. He lost the ball in the tackle. That will be a knock on, and that will end it. And there is the real siren to stop things here at halftime. But at the break, it is the Dragons who lead the Tigers 8 points to nil. Amos Roberts gets us underway for the second 40. Kicks it down to Withers. He gives it off to Steve Crouch, who runs at Jason Hooper. Hooper's been playing, of course, in the centres from just the 3rd minute of the game when Hookie was taken from the field. That forced a reshuffle in the back row for the Dragons, with Tutt coming into it. Here's Scandalis. He's played the entire first 40 minutes at dummy half. Now Crouch up towards the halfway line. Warren Smith along with Brett Kenny and Laurie Daly bringing you all the action this afternoon. As the kick comes in, Roberts gives it back to Cooper. Better kick chase from the Tigers.
Okay, play one, mark the square.
This first occasion, we'll see if that improves throughout the second half. Poor in that area in that first 40 minutes. Stapleton playing it to Millard. Here's Tutt. Former Rooster is stopped just inside the 40. He plays it back to Riddell. He had a chance to gallop away into open territory so far. Plays it back to Millard with both hookers out there at the moment. For them. Here is Riddell into open space finally. Has support on the inside was Stapleton, but they had him covered. Still going, got it back to Hornby, and then he was stopped in a hurry at the Tigers' 10-metre line. Fitzhenry is hurt just behind the play the ball area. Riddell now will go to Barrett. He puts the crossfield bomb in. Cooper is out there. Corfusi couldn't come down with it. Timmins could though. And Tim Mander wants to take a look.
Check to make sure the grounding. I'm pretty sure Jackson.
Well, he was the former Jackson. Now his name's Lapina. It doesn't matter what you call him. He's put the ball down cold here in the in-goal area. Not taken out of it by Cooper, and it came down to Timmins, who couldn't believe his eyes, I'm sure, as it fell to ground. I just want to make sure about the grounding. Did Kafusi get to it first to put some pressure on it? He did, in fact, you know. He beat him to the ball by a hand. Phil Cooley is the video referee here at Campbelltown this afternoon. And he has a decision for us. He spins up a no try, and the goal line dropout. Correct on both occasions. Manu.
On three, just stand up, Willie.
Raise it back to Mears. Scandalis gives it on to Crouch. So Tigers work it a couple wide of the ruck. They continue to come right here. Here's O'Neill coming down this short side. Good tackle, solid tackle as well. They stopped him in a hurry, and it was made by Hornby. They swing it back to Lincoln Withers for the clearing kick.
Just where you are.
Who had kicked it downfield and was chasing it before he caught it and put it down as a result. And here are the Dragons getting the turnover on the last tackle, and they'll be at the 30 when they have it. Barrett gives it to Roberts. Another uncompleted set for the Tigers. 16 of 25 now in this game as Kite works his way closer to the post. He's just 10 away. Riddell goes to the right-hand side. Here's Barrett trying to put a step on. He came to Manu, bounced off his shoulder and planted the ball down. He gets the third try of the game, responds to the big tackle that Manu put on him in the first half. He showed he's got plenty of strength as well. And the Dragons have busted this one open suddenly.
And Trent Barrett's taken it upon himself to lead his side today in the second half. Just running the football. Willie Manu comes in, makes contact, but cannot wrap him up. And that's a tremendous show of strength by Barrett, the 5'8". The bigger man, Manu, making contact, just busting through, taking three over the line with him.
Well, there it is. Shading the sun initially before he gets it up. And adds the extra two. The Dragons now lead the Tigers by a comfortable margin. Riles cooling his heels, back on the bench for the moment. There's St George Illawarra who lead West 14-0. Withers comes to Mark O'Neill, who's met by Hooper. Last tackle here, a chance for a 40-20 attempt at least. Withers got it to Crouch. They came up very quickly, and here's a kick put in by Galea. And they'll turn over possession to the Dragons inside their own territory when all they needed was a kick of any length downfield to turn the Dragons around and make them actually do a little bit of work running back on side.
Well, their fifth tackle options in this second half have been poor, to say the least. Lincoln Withers dropping an easy pass on the last tackle that time there. Millard put him off by being offside, but they still had the opportunity to kick the ball, as you mentioned, not pass it and try and get on the outside. Just shooting themselves in the footy of the West Tigers.
They've barely got any toes left. Here's Bailey. They're just outside the 20, in front of the post. Riddell comes to Barrett. He'll put it high in the air again. This time somebody will have to make a play at it. It was Gaznier who got up there, batted it backwards like a ruckman, and now Roberts will kick wide again. A pretty good one as well. Oh, an unlucky bounce for them. Cooper wasn't quite expecting it. Anticipated a little better. He might have been able to run through and get that one on the chest, but then he got a bounce as well. It could have set up for him, but
go on, mate. I was playing advantage.
It went over the sideline.
They haven't looked comfortable at all with the ball in the air, the West Tigers. Fifth tackle, the Dragons looking to put the ball up. They started with Kafusi, and now they started to Pepper Fitzhenry. Oh.
Here's a mistake put down by McGuinness, towed through by Hornby. They are an absolutely shattered team, the West Tigers. They are playing like it. They do not know who is going to be coaching them in 2003. And at the moment, on the field at least, they are a leaderless rabble, and they are being spanked here 18 points to 0.
And that's no excuse, Warren, not knowing who the coach is going to be next season. If it is, that's the easy option for these players. It's really about pride in your own performance. And some of the things that the Tigers players have shown in this last 10 minutes has been very, very poor, to say the least. And Terry Lamb, he's been a champion coach, a champion player, and one of the most well-respected players in the game. He certainly doesn't deserve this type of football that the Tigers are tossing up at the moment.
Saying if the Tigers didn't muscle up in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we could have quite a scoreline put on here. And you would think that that's going to be the case.
Well, really, Warren, the tries that they've scored in the second half have been pretty soft, and they haven't been through a lot of magic from the Dragons.
Here's Withers again. Good straight line from the Dragons. They stop Crouch. About 8 metres away still. They've used 3 tackles. Here's Mears going from dummy half. He likes to try his luck. Galea, a short ball away to LaFranchi. He was stopped by Barrett with the help of Bailey. Only a metre away. Withers again. He goes past Crouch to give it to Wilson. Scandalis coming back on the inside. Looking for that channel, but it closed quickly between Gorrell and Tutt. Now the last tackle. Sears feeds it to Withers. The crossfield bomb. Roberts is out there, up against Kafusi, who caught it, but took it across the touch and goal line.
I wonder if you're going to before or after. Mate, I'm pretty sure he's dropped it here, but just make sure he hasn't placed it.
Amanda wants to check with the video referee. From here, it looked as though Kafusi had dropped the football. A magic effort, getting up for it, out of the hands. Nah, put over the sideline. Certainly a good effort.
A very good kick as well, up into the sun. Put Roberts under a lot of pressure, and Kafusi dropped one up in his own end goal. Did a tremendous job there to take that ball. Unfortunately, his momentum took him out over the touch-in goal.
Kafusi's gone within an ace of scoring here. It is a no try, and it will be a 20-metre restart as expected for the Dragons. Riddell will tap it. And it's Stapleton who carts it into the teeth of this Tigers defence.
And while the Dragons haven't played that well with the football, defensively they've been very solid. They only conceded 10 points last weekend against the Rabbitohs. And this afternoon they've been quite good, especially defending on their line. Their scramble defence has been pretty good. They've nominated, they've moved up. They've got numbers in the tackle. They've really slowed down that ruck area.
Here's Riddell, speaking of the ruck, going straight through them again. He comes to Fitzhenry, puts a step on. Saylor tries to stop him, can't do so. And then it's LaFranchi who brings him to ground 20 away. He had support, couldn't get it to Barrett, who has it now. He goes off both feet before he's stopped by Crouch. Last tackle here for the Dragons. They're 11 metres away from the Tigers line. Very well to reel it in. Riddell again for the second time in their second half. Straight through them. McGuinness here, very lucky, or rather Saylor. Got a poor pass from dummy half. He only just held on to it. Here's a ball popped up to Saylor from Scandalis. They're trying everything at the moment. Get up very quickly to put the pressure on Millard there. Stopping Scandalis at the 20. Here's Galea. Put the hip and shoulder there on Kite. And a good tackle. And the kick will come to Hornby, who's back there in the full-back position at the moment. Gaznier still playing in the left wing. Gets into dummy half. Roberts playing in that right wing position at the moment as the Dragons do a little bit of a reshuffle out wide with Timmins sitting on the bench for the moment. Bailey taking it into Tigers territory. 24 left here at Campbelltown. And it's the Dragons who lead 20 points to nil. Scandalis will be called out for a high shot.
Yeah, John, we just got a high shot there, mate. Let's keep them down, okay? Keep your tackles down.
This will give the Dragons the chance to go deep on the attack. Mears made the first contact, and then Scandalis just with a wrapping arm around the chin and neck region, if you like.
He really does carry this West Tigers forward pack, John Scandalis. He tries his heart out every week. Already today, he's made 24 tackles, 13 hit-ups.
Here's Gorrell stepping, almost got around Scandalis. Well, he grabbed him by the collar. Plenty of tackles here. They're close to the line. They're so close, in fact, that they can dive over from dummy half through Mark Riddell, who was doing his Shooter McGavin impersonation. And it's 24 points to nil.
He's certainly added some sparks since he's been on the field, Riddell. He's made numerous runs from dummy half, and they just can't handle him at the moment. He's a strong runner of the football. He's been coming off the bench to good advantage for the Dragons over the last couple of weeks. And that time scoring underneath the sticks. Gets up to celebrate. He's happy.
Those Dragons fans who've made the trek to the southwest of Sydney. 26 points to nil. St George Illawarra over the West Tigers. And it has been very much one-way traffic throughout the afternoon.
And of course, Warren, the win here this afternoon will see the Dragons just 1 point out of that top 8.
They've had some results go their way this weekend, with the Broncos beating Parramatta on Friday night at Parramatta as Riles is back out there. They were riding him like a Bronco themselves for a moment there. And then, of course, Penrith beating Melbourne was the best result of the weekend for the Dragons. That was a tremendous favour done for the Dragons by the Panthers. And this will be the Dragons just their 7th win of the season. There'll be 7 wins, 9 losses and 3 draws after this game, as Sears tries to put a hit on Jason Riles, who then pushes away from Scandalis as well. He's making a power of stopping out there.
Hold, get square, John.
Plays it back to Riddell. Here's Bailey, working in tandem with his fellow New South Wales front rower. Riddell with the kick from dummy half, putting some pressure on Kafusi again. Or Cooper got through, almost got there in time to put some real pressure on Kafusi, who's lost the ball here. That will be raked out by Kite, and they'll get 6 more tackles. It was more good luck than good management.
They certainly haven't given up, the West Tigers, just that they've been outplayed by a better team today that did the basics right and capitalised on any mistakes that the West Tigers have thrown up. In that last set of 6, the West Tigers, they tried to put a hit on.
There's a good ball, came away to Galea. He was almost through a hole, stopped by Bailey and Hornby. 4 tackles got in this set. Here's Withers. Now Scandalis, who straightens, tries to push a ball out the back, but that was raked out.
Yes, he did. One of you blokes played at it, and he was in front. No, just calm down. Let it go.
Mark Riddell is offside. They'll take the quick tap. Corey Pearson, and the Dragon himself, who's just 12 metres away, comes to Withers. He takes them on. He's 5 metres away from this.
Just wait. You were there and never got off the ground. Okay, you must get up and go back. Well, you can't touch him. You can't touch him. Get back, Trent.
I'll tap it again and go. The Tigers still inside this Dragons 20. Wilson showing it. The Dragons would love to keep their line intact here this afternoon. Here's Fitzhenry. Comes to Scandalis. He'll get across. He reaches out and plants it down. The big front rower had to get there eventually. They had plenty of tackles at their line. And a bit of momentum. He was too big to stop. And the Tigers are on the board.
And he did it well there, John Scandalis, picking out the smaller Aaron Gorrell. Only a couple of metres away from the try line. He wound himself up straight at Gorrell. Gaznier had to stay out there on Sailor. And a big man on a smaller man.
Exactly right. Big man's always going to win the contest, and it was just sheer weight of possession. A couple of penalties gone their way, the Tigers. And John Scandalis probably deserved that try because he's worked very hard. He's probably been the best forward for the Tigers, and he's tried to lead the way out there, and has come up with a 4-pointer for them.
Roberts with the restart for the Dragons. Taken by Withers. To Fitzhenry as they spread it early here. They'll try anything now. Pearson got it away to Willie Manu. Was brought down inadvertently by Pearson. Here's Kafusi. Runs at Cooper. He'll look to offload if at all possible. Still going. Good run by the winger. We'll give him the faintest of sniffs to try and put something on for this last quarter of an hour here at Campbelltown. The try by Scandalis. Manu playing it. Mears comes to Pearson. Second man ball. Wilson's put it down pretty simply here. And now Gaznier circling. Got away from them. Who has the pace to go with him? The answer is nobody. And Gaznier, like that, what an opportunist. Scores another try for the Dragons, and they've hit straight back. It's 30 points to 4.
And again, mistake by the West Tigers, and the Dragons capitalising on it. Just a simple play here. Pearson to the line. Withers to Wilson. Just hits him in the chest. He has a bit of a Bo Peep at the defensive line. And then Gaznier, what speed, footwork. And having the Dragons been missing him in the middle stages of the year, he can score a try. He defends very solidly out on the edge. And he is an excitement plus machine.
Well, he certainly has got plenty of pace, and it's got a very famous name. And, geez, the running style was very famous as well. It's plenty of speed, good step. Once he got into the open, you couldn't see any of the Tigers players were going to be quick enough to stop him, but a great individual try.
And Riddell once again from right in front. There's the chance to add the extra 2 points. The 5th double as far as try-scoring feats go for Mark Gaznier in his career. Riddell with the kick, which is good, and it's 32 to 4. Stop him. Oh, will he? Oh, what a tackle by Ben Hornby. He stopped him a metre out. Saylor was blowing blue smoke and needs a change of rings. Hornby tracked him down. He came down Conrod straight, but didn't have the gas to get there. Here he is from dummy half, throwing a pass. It comes to Fitzhenry. He'll put a kick in behind them. Withers is there. He couldn't get to it. Neither could Riles. McGuinness got there. Did he get it down? Yes, he did, says Tim Mander. What a try to the Tigers. I'd have put the house and then some on Hassan Saylor getting the line, but I tell you what, he's good over 50, but he's not so good over 80, and Ben Hornby tracked him down.
Oh, he was flying, Hassan Saylor. He showed plenty of speed. Looked as though he pulled a Hemi in the last 10. And Ben Hornby, what a great chase. Matty Sears, he was in support. Probably moved infield. He thought he might have gone over the sideline. And then Fitzhenry, the kick instead of the long pass. They were shot for numbers. An unlucky bounce. Riles, what a fantastic job he did getting back there. And McGuinness getting the football, touching down.
Well, it certainly was a great chase by Hornby. He didn't think he had any chance. You could see he wasn't even looking at Saylor, and then suddenly realised he was going to catch him. And it was a very good kick, and unfortunately for Riles, the bounce didn't favour him. It's certainly a great chase by Hornby.
The kick is wide. This one taken not by John Scandalis as Terry Lamb watches on, despite the scoreline. Oh, well, I don't know. I was going to say you can take something out of it. I'm not sure what he can take out of it.
8 points is a bit.
Yeah, moment. 8 points for the scoreline. That is all they have. 32 to 8 it is. Bailey watches on.
Warren, I know we've got some top-class goal kickers in the competition, but over the last couple of weeks, teams, when they've had to use their second and third string kickers, they haven't been that great.
They've struggled.
I think goal kicking might play a major part further down the road in semi-finals. You must make sure that you're second and third stringer are doing a lot of work, because if your number one kicker's out, it's in a close game, you will find you mightn't get across the line.
Withers at dummy half. Comes to LaFranchi. He's just 13 away from the halfway line. Here's Pearson. Got it through the hands of Jeffries, who's back out there for this final 10 now. In fact, it was Jeffries who took the conversion attempt. Here's Withers again. LaFranchi, oh, good hands, and no, it wasn't. Gaznier was throwing an awful ball, right around his toes, and then Riles tries to put a big fend on Willie Manu. Cooper goes from dummy half and into Tigers territory.
Lincoln, wait.
Here's Riddell to Millard. Standing there, actually ridden to ground. Gorrell. All back on the inside for Nathan Tutt. Being solid after being called into the fray early on with that injury to Hookie in just the 3rd minute of play. Riddell going again from dummy half. He threatens to break the line every time he runs. Hornby. Quick play the ball to Barrett. Back to Millard. He's only 4 metres away. Kite waiting at dummy half. Barrett now put the crossfield bomb in once again. Here's Gaznier up against Saylor. Gaznier got it. It was a good leap. One-on-one with Hassan Saylor, who's been beaten by Hornby for pace and now beaten in the leap by Gaznier. As he was spun onto his back, he got it down right about there.
And the attacking player always has the advantage, doesn't he? Running and jumping at the football. There was not much Saylor could do. He just tried his best to leap. And then when he realised that Gaznier had out-jumped him, he tried to wrap up the football, and Gaznier just wiggled his way around. He fought in the tackle and eventually just getting the ball down for his 3rd try of the afternoon and first hat-trick in first grade for the young fellow.
That should be a TRY.
Jeez, I thought you were going to go I then, Warren.
Oh, hello. No Fairfax in this box. There it is, the green lights. And it's 36 points to 8. The Dragons lead the Tigers. Gaznier gets a hat-trick, the first one of his career. The last couple of tries for the Dragons. And it was a pretty good bomb put up as well by Trent Barrett.
Yeah, it certainly was. Had the height, was perfect. And as Laurie mentioned, the attacking player running onto the football is always going to outleap the man defending. That's exactly what Gaznier did. Very good try for the Dragons. A great hat-trick for him.
It was good work to eventually get there after ending up on his back. Sears was there trying to have another dip at it. Try number 7 in game number 7 for Mark Gaznier. As we said, limited amount of time he spent on the field. In 2002, he certainly can find the line. And now Riddell from almost the sideline. Works himself up into something of a state, doesn't he? He gets there, talks to himself as well. Gets the arm up. 4 from 4 this afternoon, looking to keep that perfect record intact. Hits it pretty well. It's straight enough, and it's certainly long enough. And it's 38 points to 8. Quite a scoreline the Dragons are racking up here against the Tigers. A short kickoff again this time. Jeffries supplied it. Kafusi got up there. Roberts got there to fling it back into the field of play. Off hands, left, right, and centre.
No problems until we came to the end here.
And Tim Mander has found a knock on against the Dragons. So the Tigers will get it.
No, we had an accidental offside there, blokes. Pinball machine.
Well, and Laurie mentioned before that with the Dragons winning today, which they will, they'll be a point out of the 8. The top 8 system has actually had a little bit of controversy about it. A lot of people don't like it. I put a question to you and Laurie. Like, you look at the sides that are playing to play or make the 8th or 7th position, really aren't playing all that well. And when you come to the finals time, there's not too many of those sides. We're looking at sides like Parramatta, the Dragons, Melbourne Storm, and the Eagles. Really, you don't think that they would be that competitive against any of the top 4 sides.
No, they still might find themselves out of the 8 this afternoon as Pearson puts in the kick. Of course, the Northern Eagles have to win against North Queensland, and they will go in the 8th position. But the Dragons, when they've got their full quality and complement of players on the football field, they are a good side, and they showed that last year.
For plenty of metres as we get closer to this full-time siren. Here's Riles now off the back of it. It's quite a 1-2 they have, the Dragons.
He's walked forward.
Gorrell to Barrett. Comes to Hornby. Step back on the inside of a couple of Tigers tacklers. 2 tackles left in this set for them. Here's Barrett. Goes wide to Cooper. Fusi wraps him up.
Last one.
Roberts. We'll give it to Gorrell. He'll just chip in behind them, trying to get it away from Fitzhenry, who he hoped was going to be covering towards the open side, but he held his ground, the fullback, and has it just inside the Tigers 20. Of course, Tim Sheens has been in town over the last couple of days to talk to the Tigers board and also the selection committee, who was looking for a new coach in 2003. I don't know if he's at the ground here today. No one has seen him, but if he is, I don't know what he would have made of this performance by the Tigers. He might have left at half-time straight for the airport to get out of Dodge as soon as he could.
Bring him back, come back, come back.
I think one of the things that he can take out of this game is that their ability to have a go for the 80 minutes. I mean, their execution has been poor. That's something you can work on. And your tackle technique and your running angles and little things like that. Systems that need to be in place in the off-season, and I think that Tim Sheens would certainly be able to do that and educate these players. But there's plenty of ticker about the West Tigers. They've shown that in the past, and they'll continue to do that.
That's back. That's back.
Hornby with a couple of grabs to come up with the kick, which was the best of the afternoon for the Tigers. And they stop him here. 20 out from his own line. A little bit average getting back to his feet himself as the Dragons army sings on the hill at the southern end of Campbelltown Stadium. Here's Gaznier. Driven backwards in the tackle by Wilson. Got it away to Bailey, who runs it. Hassan Saylor, who was always going to be overmatched with the front rower running at him. Here's Riddell, slipped over, threw it up, and gave it to Riles, who was stopped in a good tackle by Withers. Roberts to Barrett. He's got Millard, who might have almost been tackled before he got it by McGuinness.
Dominant, roll off. Hold.
Roberts. Stapleton now. Taking it across the halfway line. One more tackle for the Dragons again here. And it's Barrett. He'll just kick it as deep as he possibly can. Sit down for Fitzhenry to bring it away, and they'll stop him there. Gaznier and Hooper doing the chasing. The Tigers next week will have a rematch against the Rabbitohs. Of course, they played them only a couple of weeks ago in front of a bumper crowd at Leichhardt, and they were beaten on that occasion by the Rabbitohs. They get the chance to seek a little bit of revenge next week at Aussie Stadium, while the Dragons have something of a bumper clash themselves, and they'll go to Newcastle, to Energy Australia Stadium, in fact, to take on the Newcastle Knights.
And what a match that will be. Of course, the Dragons have suffered a few injuries here this afternoon, so it'll be a long week for them as far as injuries are concerned, hoping that their players will pass through. I mean, Sean Timmins hasn't played much in his second half, come off. He was sitting down there on the sideline with his leg wrapped in ice as John Wilson makes a break here.
He comes to Hornby. The fullback might have scared him because he started to circle away from him. Here's Riddell. He doesn't need an open invitation to find the line. He was ankle tapped by LaFranchi and then put a fend on Ben Jeffries.
Dominant.
3 of them get there eventually to stop him.
Hold. Ben.
A peculiar piece of play, to say the least, which ended up with the Dragons back in possession.
It would have been a great race between Riddell and Corey Pearson coming across in cover.
If you're going to say it might have been a good race between Riddell and Hassan Saylor after what we saw earlier on.
Haas would have got him.
Here's Gaznier. Comes to Barrett, who'll put a chip in over the top, looking for Roberts. He got the bounce, and that'll do us here this afternoon. The Dragons get the bickies against the Tigers, and they crack the 40-point mark as well. Roberts gets a try to add his name to the list of try scorers for the visitors, and it's 42 points to 8.
Well, they've had some success this afternoon with the kicking game. And Mark Riddell picking up the loose pass. It was fifth tackle by the Tigers. They wanted to keep it alive. And LaFranchi, just the ankle tap probably saved Riddell and Pearson having to run 50 metres. And the Dragons, well, they have just capitalised on every mistake that the Tigers have made here this afternoon. It hasn't been one of their better displays, although in the last 15 minutes they started to get into their rhythm. They controlled the ball a little bit better. Wonderful kick there off Barrett, and a tremendous bounce for Amos Roberts to put the ball down.
At full time, it's the Dragons who've beaten the Tigers 42 points to 8 here at Campbelltown.